Good afternoon, all you wonderful money masters and treasure hunters out there. Welcome to the Tom O'Brien Show. I'm your guest host, filling in for Tom today while he's on his way back from Dallas, Texas. Tom will absolutely be with us tomorrow. And thanks so much for joining us. Again, my name's Steve Rhodes, and I kick things off here for TFNN each and every day, 9 a.m. So if you're wondering where the markets are going, tune into us at TFNN.com. You can catch us on Tiger TV. In fact, you can watch us on Tiger TV right now. Absolutely. And these hours, the first 2 hours here, they get replayed. So if you're listening to us on the radio, we absolutely appreciate you doing that. And you can always go home. You can watch an archive of this show, and you'll be able to see the charts that we've got on the screen. You know, for those of you that don't know me, what you will be is underneath my care, guidance, and protection here for the next couple of hours. And if you don't know me, folks, I live with passion. And, you know, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Around my neck is a chain, and it's a 300-year-old coin, and inscribed on it says, "Live with passion." I used to feel like, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but I used to feel like there was a noose around my neck. And I hated that feeling. So what I did was I replaced that noose around my neck with a muse around my neck, and it says I live with passion. So I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about you. Thanks so much for joining us. You can give us a call at 877-927-6648. Would absolutely love to hear from you. Let's go take a look at these markets here. We had the Dow finish up 46 points after being up, 260, 280 points yesterday. The Dow up 0.3%. The Dow being the only thing. Well, you had the Dow up, and you actually had the New York Stock Exchange up a couple of points. You had the S&P relatively flat. It was, as Tom likes to say, up, down, and all around, finishing out at 1314.99. You had the composite finish down 13 points at 28.31. Russell 2000 off 5 at 760. We had the NDX off 10 points out at 25.35. King dollar only back 10 ticks. King dollar refusing to back down. We'll take a look at that. Gold, though, on the other hand, not having any trouble backing down $42, trading out at 15.92. Silver, high-ho silver, was down 92 cents, trading out at 84.17. Light sweet crude off 85 cents, 84 bucks and change right there. If we take a quick look around the world, you did have the DAX finish up 50 points. That was off of its session highs for sure. You had the FTSE up 63 points. That was up 1 2/10%. You had the Nikkei up 1 2/10% last night. That was 106. You had the Hang Seng up about 0.8%, up 157. In Spain, it wasn't raining in Spain. It was up 0.3, up 19 points. That's the IBEX. Now, what we're taking a look at here is the S&P 500, the S&P cash. That's what I've got on my screen here, and you'll see several different lines. Let me tell you what we're looking at. When we take a look at correction, so on this move down here from the S&P 500, the highs were put in on April the 2nd. And the first correction on the way back up is this little blue line here. That correction, folks, was from the low that was put in on April 24th all the way up to a high that was put in on May the 1st, May Day. That high being 14.15.32. That blue line is, in essence, equal to the correction that we have had so far. So that says caution, Will Robinson, if you're listening, Will Robinson. So it absolutely says caution. So you've had the same, just a little bit more, but you've had basically the same correction that we had. Now, we've also, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those lines just simply so it makes it a little bit easier. Well, I'm going to leave them out there because I've got to do that second now. I don't have to redraw them. Now, what you are taking a look at, and what the S&P did, if you were listening on the show yesterday, what I did say was the S&P was going to get into that May 29th swing point. The low on that, 13.1890, the high of 13.34. That's exactly what it did. It closed below that swing point. We'll go take a look at the SPYs and take a look at volume that is out there. Let me switch over here to the Dow. Now, what I am going to show you, I do want to show you this black line that I've got here, this black diagonal line. This is off of the May Day highs. This is off the May 1st high out at 14.15.32. The next high that I hit on this black diagonal line is that correction that came in on May 29th when the S&P got up to a high of 13.34. What that was creating there was a trend line, just nothing more than a trend line. And we'll talk a little bit about trend lines and why it's important for you to be aware of those trend lines. Now, what the S&P did yesterday, the S&P busted through that trend line. You closed actually above it today. I believe there's still more work to be done to the upside, but no Don't mistake me, folks. I'm absolutely a bear. There's hair growing out of my ears every morning. I've got to shave that hair out because I'm just itching to pull the trigger. I think it's still just a little bit too early, but certainly the markets, markets were up big today, gave it back. But I still believe that there is some more work to the upside here before you want to go short, especially coming into a Friday. And it's not just a Friday. I believe you could call this the first Friday of the summer. When we live here in Florida, we kind of take summer for granted because we feel like it's summer almost year-round. We get maybe a little winter when it gets below the 70s, and that's not too often, but certainly for everybody in the Northeast, the Midwest, maybe even the Northwest as well. Summer is in full swing. That is a beautiful thing. I think even next week is the U.S. Open golf tournament. But let's take a look at the Dow here. The Dow today getting into the same swing point. That's the May 29th, closing out the session at 12,460. What's important, the Dow has actually been really a weak link in the chain when you take a look at the indexes out there, for a number of different reasons. But here's what I want you to take note of. The Dow, sometimes weakness gets strong. Haven't you ever been weak in your life? And then all of a sudden you've also been able to get over that. You got it all out of you. You get rid of that fear, and then all of a sudden you turn into being stronger than ever. Well, the Dow here giving us some type of signal. It closed inside the May 29th area. So we have a little bit of divergence here when we take a look at the indexes. That's why I also suggest that the Dow has got more work to the upside. And the Dow is really, we're going to take a look at the Dow is running into this trend line. I can't give you the exact number of where that is. Right now it's a little bit of an imaginary point, I would say. If it were to hit that area tomorrow, it's going to be somewhere just north of $12,611.61. Why? That's the swing point high of May 29th out there. If we go take a look at the small caps, the Russell 2000 here, let's actually take a look at the New York Stock Exchange, because the New York Stock Exchange absolutely is giving us the signal that we are in the next leg of that bear market. And, I have been absolutely hollering out there to all of you folks, especially for your long-term holdings. Go to cash, go to cash. I mean go to cash. I can't say go to cash any clearer than that. And there's a special report on the homepage of TFNN.com. If you go over there, it says special report. It says successes by the numbers. You want to go ahead, and if you haven't downloaded it, please do so. Do that tonight. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an update for everybody that has downloaded that report. I'm going to do a video update, take you through more information that was contained in that report. This report, several-page report, and it gets right to the point. So that it's a study of 73 years, helps you understand for managing your long-term funds, when to be in, when to be out of the market. I'm going to be more specific in this, so everybody who has signed up will get an email out. It'll be a video email. It will also have more detail. So make sure that you do this now. You absolutely want to have this. This is one of those things, this is one of those gems that you absolutely want to be able to print out and have, so that you can pass it down to your kids, because this is how they can manage their 401ks as they're getting jobs. Maybe they're working and they're checking the boxes. If we take a look at the New York Stock Exchange, I take a look at the trend line coming down off of the highs from May 1st on the New York Stock Exchange. You're looking at a high of 82.11. Again, the next area, the next point of reference I'm going to pick up is May 29th, as we had a correction in the New York Stock Exchange, and it got up to a high of 76.34. So you're seeing a trend line. That's that black line that was coming down there. Most certainly the May 29th swing point was tested today on the New York Stock Exchange. But you had a strong day yesterday. You got above that trend line. I believe there's more work in this market, especially coming into a Friday holiday, for work to the upside. If we switch over to the ETFs here real quickly, let's go take a look at start off with the SPYs. And the SPYs here today, volume that you did. Now, today you do volume. You get to a higher high. You do with 177 million shares. Yesterday you did 183 million shares at 177, going into 152. So still, even though you rejected it on price, you still had volume coming into the SPYs. When you have volume coming into a swing point, it says you still want to go at least test the high. Well, the SPYs did not do that today. The high, 133.93. Again, that was 152 million. Today, you do 177. If we go take a look at the diamonds, let's take a look at the other side of that before we go out to break here. Today on the diamonds, you do 8.8 million shares. That was going into that swing point of 6.8. Same thing there on the diamonds. It wants to go up and test that high. On the diamonds, you're looking at 125.92. 877-927-6648. We'll be right back, folks.